I think Flint has currently, I think the population's give or take around 100,000 people in Flint. And I mean, what's so crazy about, maybe people don't even know this about Michigan, is Michigan is one of those states where, so you elected, and like the whole system is corrupt, but here's another way of just how unbelievably corrupt the system is. So you have this right-wing governor who comes in, who cuts taxes for millionaires, cuts taxes for corporations like GM. And by the way, GM, they complained about their water being messed up and because it was corroding the metal, and Snyder actually hooked them up to the good water because they're a corporation, while still letting the damn water go into Flint and poison human beings. But that aside, Michigan has this whole thing where, in addition to sort of like this, austerity right-wing madness of like cutting stuff and murdering people in order to make money, they actually have this law where if a city doesn't have the money because they cut taxes insanely, so they don't have any money for infrastructure like, the fire department or, God forbid, water, you can actually, the city declares bankruptcy and the government takes over, the state takes over and installs businessmen to run the city. So it's like, and the city managers actually have authority over the entire town. They can make deals, they can cut pensions, they can do whatever the hell they want. And it's literally just the death of the illusion of democracy. It's just like, if you want to say democracy is messed up in this country, it definitely is. But it's the death of even just the pretending of democracy here is what's happening in Michigan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, and it's always been that way. It's always been that way since, the city and really the state, but the city in particular, Flint, came so dependent on generous motors. There's another water crisis going on in Detroit with affordable water,
right?
Which that actually was going on before in Flint too, before it even really went crazy in Detroit. That's why you keep hearing about all these notices that they're still issuing to people, who are behind in those water. But man, they should be given amnesty for those bills. But Flint is the vehicle city. It's the prototype for Detroit. So I urge everybody from the D, if you ain't up on what's happening in Flint, you better get up on it, and you better keep a watchful eye, because what's happening in Flint is gonna happen to you. Because like Detroit is like almost like a corrosion of a wasteland, and that's a big major metropolitan city, but it's already like starting to eat itself the same way Flint has been eating itself for years, because their fate is sealed in our fate, and it's just crazy how that works in that city. But trying to be solution oriented, man, those pipes got to be fixed, reparations need to be given, and those people need to go in jail. They shouldn't be making no decisions for no policies, for nothing, because look at what they did, man. That's poison. That's more than Al-Qaeda, or anybody ever done to us. You know what I'm saying? You just poison, like people for generations and all that. Nah, son.
No, it like literally the entire. I mean, I think pretty much the entire state government of Michigan is accountable for this stuff. It's so ridiculous and again just criminal. And again, like you said, Al-Qaeda couldn't get away with this shit. It's just not. This is. I mean, they this is their dream, right? It's like, oh, let's poison a city of 100,000 people and then still just keep walking the street as free men, right? That's literally what they'd want to do. I want to talk about the idea. So I guess what they're saying is that to replace the damaged infrastructure caused by the problem there, it's somewhere around between 1.2 and 1.5 billion dollars. Is it? Let me ask you, as someone who still has family in Flint, I mean, because again, like the people in Flint, like the people who have own homes in Flint, their homes are destroyed. Like no one's gonna want to move to Flint, right? I mean, like what would actually justice look like, man? Is it better just to like? And I'm saying this realistically, giving every man, woman, and child in Flint $1 million, or something like that, and just saying, okay, look, get out of Flint. This place is destroyed. I mean, what in your mind is that? Because I really want to know what's your thoughts on what does that justice actually look like in terms of reparations? Because obviously something has to happen here.
Yeah, That's the thing. I was just talking to somebody. I was just talking to my mother actually about this. I have I have a cousin who, she's a homeowner, and homeowners are like, it's easy for my family because, my mother is in an apartment. My mother and brother's in an apartment. They can pack up and bounce. But for homeowners, it's a little difficult. And then a lot of people have the mentality like, man, I worked hard for this. Like, I built this, So, I mean, with that, but like now, in a time like this, now is not the time to be emotional. And I understand like where people don't want to leave and all of this. And I even, part of me don't want people to necessarily leave either because I know what's coming. They're going to try to turn Flint into like a college town or turn it into Vegas or some like goofy, shit like that where it's like no black people, or it's going to be totally, this industrial utopia to help us get out of China's debt and all this stuff. And the people who've been suffering are going to get dime. So I don't know. I think for me, the time is to really give them, shit, man, give us 40 acres and a mule, something like people need that. People need like their land. If you're conquering the land, then you got to give us some land or give us enough compensation for the land. It shouldn't be this thing of buying cheap. Like, remember a couple years ago when it was on the internet, like you can buy homes in Flint and in Detroit for like $1 and $2.
Right.
Like that, I put all that together with this. Like that still goes on. Like those houses, a lot of houses are boarded up, and the house I grew up in is boarded up and damn near ready to be demolished. The next door neighbor's house is gone. The house next to that gone. So I know what the goal is to get the land and buy the people out. So if that's what it is, and there's no other way to fix it, then then cool, give them compensation. But what I would ask and probably urge is while all these celebrities, whether the Diddy's and the Russell Simmons and the Keisha Coles and all that, like y'all really want to help, y'all really want to come in and do photo ops, buy some land for the people. Or buy some land for yourselves and get the people there to manage it. Get the people there in some development classes and help them to manage and hook up the land.
How are the people like your family and friends? Like, what's their? I mean, like they're when you talk to them, what do they say? Like, is it just? Well, I can't even comprehend what that might be like. Tell me about it.
They're worried. They're dealing. I mean, they're in the belly of the beast. They're worried. They're confused. A lot of people, a lot of people in Flint are, man, they're still dealing with the economy.
Yeah.
Let alone like every fabric of their life is being disrupted. And just tamper with. Like you can't, one bottle of water that you use one bottle of water to brush your teeth, that's only 5. You can only use that 5 times. That's not even accounting for showering. So like the whole way of life is disrupted. They're worried. People on the outskirts of Davison and other places are worried that it might be actually a whole Genesee County thing and not just a Flint thing. So that's something else. So a lot of them are just worried and concerned, and especially the elders. People. My grandfather's 93, so he's very concerned, but he's like adamant, like I ain't going nowhere. So the whole thing with the water situation is just, I mean, they're just dealing with it day to day as Flint people do.